And we are live. Oh, wow, y'all are ready. How are you guys doing? I'm going to wait for everybody to log in, and I'm also going to pull this up on my screen so I can see all of your comments and everything. Go ahead and put in the chat where you're from. I'm always curious to know where you guys are living at, because I'm in Florida, but I know a lot of y'all are based in like New York and Texas. So just put in the chat what your city and your state is. All right. So I see a couple of you guys piling in here, which is great. Thank you guys for being here like right on time, right on time. All right. Okay. I'm just looking through you guys' comments. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm still just getting some things situated. There we go. There we go. Pulling everything up. And so while I'm pulling this up, I'm going to go ahead and just start what we're going to be talking about today, which is basically 5 reasons why your hair is frizzy. Now, for those of you who may be new here, or if this is your first time seeing me in a video or on a live, my name is Kenya. I also go by Power in Your Curl, and my mission here on YouTube and also on Instagram is basically just to help you save as much time, money, and frustration as possible, because I've gone through my 8-year natural hair journey and I'm still on it. But a lot of like the first 4 years, a lot of the time that I spent with my hair care was just super frustrating because I couldn't find the answers to the problems that I was having. So I made my YouTube channel to be like a solution for that, if anybody is experiencing the same thing that I was. And so I like to talk about things that I don't necessarily see that often on YouTube. And so today what I want to speak about is why your hair is frizzy, because a lot of you have been telling me that you're having issues with frizz. And this isn't just like within the past few weeks, like for the past few months, a lot of you have been letting me know that you need help with frizzy hair. And I can see your comments now. So let's see. I can't hear. Is that true for everyone? If you can hear me, put a 1 in the chat. And y'all are from a lot of places. Mississippi, California, Switzerland. Wow. Columbus, Ohio. Okay. And I see you guys putting 1s. Good, good. Okay. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and spending your Saturday with me. I'm going to go ahead and get started because I feel like we should all be enjoying the day and the weekend. So the very first thing that I wanted to talk about is if your hair is frizzy, usually that's because it's 1 or 2 things. Usually it's your moisture levels that you need to be paying attention to, or you may have damage that you need to be paying attention to. So with that first one, with your moisture levels, you want to make sure that your hair isn't dehydrated or deprived of moisture. And the way that you can figure out if your hair is dry or dehydrated, which is basically just like really dry, like internally your hair is just like really dry, is if your hair kind of sounds crispy when you're running your fingers through your hair, if it feels straw-like, or even if it's very easy to snap. Usually that's because your hair doesn't have moisture and there's no bend or give to it. So a lot of the times I say that deep conditioning can solve so many hair issues. And in this case, it's the case as well. If you want to boost your moisture levels in your hair, I like to basically go on to a moisture boosting regimen, which is what I've done in the past in my hair regimen, where basically I focus on deep conditioning frequently and consistently. And in my opinion, deep conditioning every single week would be that ideal time, but it's going to depend on your hair like schedule, how your lifestyle is, and also what your hair likes. And then you want to make sure that when you're actually styling your hair on wash day, you're installing moisture into your hair. So I always use at least 2 products in my hair care styling regimen because in my opinion, I need a leave-in and a cream. Now you may only need like water as your leave-in and a cream, and then some people also use an oil, but layering your products when you're styling your hair is really gonna give you long-lasting moisture, which is what you want, because if your hair is only moisturized for one day, it's gonna be susceptible to breakage up until the next time that you style your hair. And then lastly, with having hair that's dehydrated or also like dry, you want to make sure that you're maintaining the moisture in your hair, because if you aren't maintaining your moisture throughout the week, no matter what you do on wash day, your hair is going to get dry because naturally curly hair is dry. Like the curls and bends in your hair strands make it hard for oil to travel down from your scalp to your ends, which is why you always want to pay special attention to your ends. So by maintaining moisture in your hair, that basically looks like moisturizing your hair either in the morning or at night or both, depending on how dry or dehydrated your hair is. If your hair is really, really dehydrated, and we're speaking on terms of like you're experiencing excessive frizziness, your hair is breaking whenever you're touching it, then you want to moisturize twice a day. And you can do that by like spritzing your hair with a little bit of water and then applying more of your cream or more of a nourishing oil that's suitable to your hair profile. So if you have fine hair, a lighter oil would be best for you. And if you have more normal or coarse hair, then a thicker oil would be best for you. I'm just gonna check your comments really quickly. I deep condition twice a week sometimes. However, I make sure that the protein balance is on point. Yes. All right, so the next reason why your hair may be frizzy is your cleansing. Now, this can either mean that you're over cleansing or that you're under cleansing. And the reason that I say this is because if you're experiencing frizzy hair and you find that when you're shampooing your hair feels dry, again, this is a lack of moisture, that's going to lead to frizz, because when your hair is frizzy, this is your hair strand. When your hair is frizzy, the hair cuticles are raised up and trying to pull moisture from the air. So if you're already drying your hair out from your shampoo, your hair is going to be looking and searching for moisture throughout your hairstyling process and the days to come. So I would say that if you're shampooing, if you think that you may be shampooing too much, maybe cut back on how often you shampoo, or instead of using like a clarifying shampoo or just a normal shampoo, look for a hydrating shampoo that works well for you. You can also throw co-washing into the mix. I'm not a big co-washer. I know it depends on everybody's scalp, but I only co-wash about once a month. But you just want to find alternatives to cleanse your hair without actually stripping your hair of all of its natural oils and the moisture that's in your hair. And then also with your cleansing, you could be under cleansing. And by that, I mean that when you're cleansing your hair, you're not fully removing the buildup on your hair. So that could be product buildup, especially if you are using products with silicones. You want to make sure that you're cleansing with a sulfate shampoo to completely remove those silicones off your hair. And so if you're under cleansing, you're basically leaving excess like residue on your hair from your prior styling sessions. And because of that, the new product that you're putting on your hair is not able to penetrate, meaning that new product is not able to moisturize your hair. And then you're experiencing a lack of moisture in that way. So your hair, again, is frizzing up because it's trying to pull moisture from the air because there's a barrier on it from your old product residue. And this is something that I really had an issue with when I first went natural, because a lot of people would talk about like, you only need to shampoo like once a month, you should co-wash every week. And I would do that, but my hair builds up, like product builds up on my hair very easily. And I was having frizzy hair and dryness and breakage because I had so much product buildup on my hair. Alrighty, so the next thing, let's see, is that, and this is again in the realm of like lacking moisture in your regimen, you could be using products that don't agree with your hair. And I know that this is one of the hardest things about being natural, is trying to find products that work for your hair. And I like to, when it comes to finding products that like actually moisturize my hair, actually nourish my hair, and make my hair healthier, I like to stick to products that are at least mostly natural, organic if I can, but have as little synthetic ingredients as possible, because I find that a lot of the hair brands, and I know that everything is different for everybody, but a lot of the hair brands that have synthetic ingredients, to me, aren't very moisturizing. Like, they make my hair look good sometimes. They can make my hair look shiny and feel like something is happening. But like a week later, when I go to wash my hair, I have breakage. My hair isn't as supple as usual. And even now in my hair routine, if I like stray away from the products that I usually use and use something different that may be like cheaper and not as natural, I can tell a difference immediately. So I think that if you are really having a problem with like having your moisture levels boosted in your hair, I would try 1 or 2 all natural products and see how that works for you, and just try to cut out the products that have synthetic ingredients. Now, if it works for you, continue to use it. But if you're having an issue with the products that you're using, I will look for more high quality products. And then also, let me just check my notes here. Also, you want to make sure that you're finding the proper hair products for your hair type. And this is another thing that's really hard, and it requires a lot of like trial and error, and then also trusting yourself to find the products and to find what your hair responds to most. Like, when it comes to finding products, it's a very personal experience, and people can give you recommendations. They can share like what their experience was with it, but you have to experience that for yourself and then trust yourself. So I would recommend like looking into what products typically work, or what type of products typically work for your hair porosity. Paying attention to your porosity, I feel, is gonna cut back on a lot of like time and money spent into finding products, because if you have products that are able to penetrate your hair, then that's gonna be like, that's a good start to begin with. Whether it's like the best penetrating hair product or not, as long as it's penetrating, that's good. So if you're having like, when you're styling your hair and there's still like white residue, or you're putting a bunch of products in your hair and you feel like it's not doing anything, that product isn't penetrating, and you want to find either a more lightweight product or a thicker product that's going to work for your hair porosity. And I have a video on this. It's called finally, how to moisturize natural hair, and I talk more about how to find products that work for your hair profile. And let's see. So I'm looking here. I see you guys have questions. Hi, Tanitra. And I'm going to answer them at the end. So I want to just get through this because I want to make sure we have enough time to answer questions. And the next reason I'm going to talk about is that your hair may be damaged. So sometimes when you're experiencing excessive frizz, and I say excessive, like it's not normal frizz, because for me, this is normal frizz. But when you have excessive frizz in your hair, it could mean that your hair is damaged. And the reason why is because if you have gaps in your hair strands and your hair is lacking like protein, it's lacking in strength, there's going to be holes in those hair strands. And then of course, that's going to, when your hair is pulling moisture from the environment, it's going to cause your hair strand to swell, your cuticles are going to be raised, and that results in frizzy hair. So if you find that maybe your frizzy hair could be because your hair is weak and brittle, it very easily breaks, it doesn't feel very strong, you want to use a protein deep conditioner consistently. Some of my favorites are the Briogeo Don't Despair Repair Deep Conditioning Mask. That's a really, really good one, as well as the Apogee 2-minute reconstructive treatment. That one's really good as well. But when you use these protein treatments, just make sure that you're following up with a moisturizing deep conditioner either that day or a few days later, just to keep your protein moisture balance in check. And that's not something you should really like worry about. I think a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on making sure that's in check, but as long as you're not like overdoing protein or overdoing moisture, your hair will kind of naturally keep itself in check. But you want to use protein rich conditioners like after you shampoo your hair, and then also just making sure that you're protecting that area so it's not incurring any more damage, to keep your hair as happy and then also healthy as you can while it's damaged, because your hair isn't going to repair itself. Eventually you're going to need to cut that damaged hair to get rid of the frizziness that you're experiencing. So what you're going to be doing to kind of minimize your frizz if your hair is damaged is just going to be a temporary fix until you're comfortable to cut it, or you can cut it off a little bit at a time. And I've experienced damaged hair in my crown area where it was damaged from like mechanical damage from me detangling it too harshly. And I just had to gradually just cut off an inch at a time through my crown. And I just made sure that I definitely use a protein deep conditioner almost every wash day, and then also had low stress styles. Alrighty, so the last reason why your hair may be frizzy is, we're going to be talking about frizzy roots at this point, is your scalp health. I feel that when you're experiencing frizzy roots, sometimes it can come from like just naturally our hair is frizzy at the roots, but also if you have a dry scalp, this can be exacerbated, and then it can really cause a problem when your roots are like excessively frizzy. So the first thing that I would recommend for that, number one, is deep conditioning. But when you're deep conditioning, make sure that you're concentrating the conditioner on your roots so that the vitamins and whatever benefits of the deep conditioner are really going to be able to penetrate that area of your hair that needs it the most. And also deep conditioning with heat with your roots so that you can make sure that it's penetrating again as best as it can, because the deep conditioner, if you're using a high quality deep conditioner, can penetrate to the cortex of your hair, like the center of your hair, and can impart the nutrients that you need. And then also when you have frizzy and dry roots, I find that when you're, as you're trying to calm your roots down, if you want to do your style, say you're doing a twist out, if you do a twist out, sometimes flat twisting your twist and then sitting under a dryer just so you can get your roots dry can help you like maintain the look of non-frizzy roots just for that style sake, as you're kind of minimizing your frizz, because you're not gonna do something with your hair, and this goes for all the tips. You're not gonna do something good for your hair one time and see results. So as you're working with the frizzy roots that you have, something that you can do to kind of cheat the look of not having frizzy roots is flat twisting your roots and then drying that under a dryer to kind of calm them down and lay them down. And then also wearing styles that keep your roots closer to your head, like flat twist or cornrows, can help you in that department. But for me, I suffered from frizzy roots for about 6 to 8 months because I wasn't deep conditioning consistently. And once I did start deep conditioning consistently, I saw improvement in that area. But I didn't really see like complete like eradication of my frizzy roots until I used the Cherry Lola treatment. And I also have a video on this as well. But basically you take amino acids, you take, it's like a DIY deep conditioner that you can do. And all the products work together to open up your hair cuticles and to deliver moisture and nutrients and protein enzymes to your roots to kind of defrizz them and help them just relax a little bit. If you go onto my video, I have like a more in-depth explanation of why it works and how it works and like what it did for me. But the Cherry Lola treatment pretty much was the only thing that I could get to completely get rid of my frizzy roots, and I haven't had an issue with it since. And I've only done it one time. So yeah. But those were all of my 5 tips. The only thing that I wanted to talk about as well with frizzy hair is that a lot of you guys ask me about like keeping your hair from frizzing while you're out in the environment, especially because I live in Florida and some of you guys live in Virginia and Georgia and like places where it's humid. And I don't necessarily worry about my hair getting frizzy because of the environment, because I know that it's natural. Like there's nothing that I can do that, in my opinion, that's going to be beneficial for my hair if I'm trying to stop something that's naturally going to happen. Like naturally, if you're in a humid environment, your hair is going to be affected by that. But if you want to minimize frizz from humidity, what you can do is use like anti-frizz serums and anti-frizz products. Now, these products are almost always going to have silicones in them because the silicone is what's going to create a barrier between your hair and the environment and stop the environment from having an effect on your hair. And you can use them as long as you completely wash them out later with a sulfate shampoo. Or you can use oils that have frizz fighting properties. And just basically in their molecular structure, either they have like fatty acids or proteins that keep your hair from being affected by frizz. But these aren't foolproof because they are like natural oils. But avocado oil, sunflower seed oil, let me see here. Argan oil is really good, and olive oil are all really good, like fatty, protein-rich oils that are going to basically protect your hair from being frizzed out by the environment. It's still going to be affected a little bit because, again, like that's just natural. That's going to happen. But if you don't want your style to be completely ruined, those can be helpful. So yeah, I think we made pretty good time. Usually I'm on here for like 40 minutes. But those were all of the reasons why your hair is frizzy and how you can solve them. And if you guys want more detailed information about like how exactly this can apply to you, go ahead and leave a comment in the comment box, and I'm going to be answering those now. So let me see here. Using avocado oil and loving it. Yeah, I really like avocado oil. Like I can feel how fatty it is and how it works well for my hair. Why does my hair go frizzy if I air dry my hair when I finish washing? Shanae, I think if you were to look at some of the tips that I talked about today, like your hair is going frizzy if you air dry your hair after you're washing it. Is your hair properly moisturized from the products that you're using when you style your hair? When you're washing your hair, are you over shampooing it? Are you not completely getting out the old product residue? Like, I think you should look back at your regimen before you air dry and see if there's something that needs to be tweaked there. Grapeseed oil is good. Yes, grapeseed oil is super, super lightweight too. Right now, I have a protective style. How can I ensure moisturization? So depending on the protective style that you have, I like to, one, make sure your hair is super moisturized before you put your hair in that protective style. Then once your hair is in the protective style, you also can spritz your hair really lightly with water, or for like extra goodness or extra benefits, you can make like a little leave-in spray with water and some oil. You can buy some, but basically spritz your hair with some type of liquid that's going to open up your hair cuticle, and then apply a small amount of a cream, a butter, and oil, whatever works best for your hair to kind of seal the moisture in and give your hair the nutrients that it needs. I would do that probably every 2 to 3 days if you can. Like, I don't know if you mean extensions or your actual hair. And then when you're applying the cream or the butter or the oil, just like press it into your hair, and then also putting a headscarf on after that to kind of let the product seep into your hair, and also to lay down any frizzies can be helpful. Alrighty, this is so cool. I like your beauty shelf. Thank you. What about frizzy ends? Frizzy ends. So if you have frizzy ends, usually that means damage. But it doesn't always mean that. But if your ends are like excessively frizzy and you do all the tips that I mentioned today, or you find even more that work better for your hair. So if you're deep conditioning consistently and your ends aren't like defrizzing, if you're moisturizing your hair every single day, if you're doing all the steps that you need to do that I mentioned today and your ends are still frizzy, that usually just means that your ends are damaged and you need to just go ahead and cut them. There's really nothing you can do past that point. So if you look at your ends and you can see that they're a completely different texture from the rest of your hair, if they feel brittle, if there are split ends, then you may just need to trim your ends. Frizzy ends are split ends sometimes, yes. Okay. Someone says, what suggestions do you have? My crown is frizzy, dry, different texture. A lot of people have that same problem. What can I do to transition it to a better texture? Well, the texture that you have, I mean, that's a beautiful texture. I don't know if I would say like you want to transition to a better texture, but if you want to basically make your hair as healthy as you possibly can, for a frizzy crown, I recommend the Cherry Lola treatment. If you go and look at the video that I did on it, it really made a difference in how frizzy my roots were, especially my crown, because it was like unmanageable frizzy. Like, I couldn't comb through it frizzy. So I think the Cherry Lola treatment is good for like first time use and even like maintenance after the fact. But also making sure when you're deep conditioning your hair, you put a little bit more product in that frizzy root area. Whenever you style your hair, you want to make sure you're putting more product on your problem areas because they need more moisture and they need more love. So it's like a maintenance thing. But as far as a treatment, I think the Cherry Lola treatment is a really good place to start if you haven't tried that already. Alrighty, let's see. Let me go back to the beginning. How do I know if I need protein treatments or protein deep conditioners? So a protein treatment is when your hair is it's just a higher level, basically. So a protein treatment I would recommend if you find that your hair is breaking a lot. Like, again, every time you touch your hair is breaking off. Whenever you're combing your hair is breaking off. Or even you can probably try a protein deep conditioner first. And if you still have issues with excessive like weakness in your hair, then I would try a protein treatment to kind of refortify that. But usually you won't need to use a protein treatment like multiple times. You only need to use it once or twice within 6 months to 4 months. And then a protein deep conditioner is something that you use for maintenance after the fact. So I use a protein deep conditioner in my hair probably like every 3 or 4 wash days to make sure that I'm keeping the protein in my hair up so that it's moisturized as well as strong. Okay. Let's see. Great question about protein treatment and moisture treatment. What about very fine, soft hair? It's hard to find a protective style and control frizz without making my hair look weighed down or very thin. Very fine, soft hair. So if you have really fine or soft hair, I think again, this is something that we could probably talk about like more one-on-one if you want to DM me on Instagram. But probably twist, I think, would be the best protective style because braids can provide a little bit more like tension and stress on your hair. But maybe if you did like two strand twists and you didn't do them to your scalp, you just actually did the two strand twists, and you just made sure that they didn't touch your shoulder so that you could protect your ends. You could kind of just loosely clip them up with a bobby pin or like a little bit of a pin, and you just do them every 1 to 2 weeks. So the thing with me, I have fine hair as well. And I would want to try to do like the protective styles that had extensions or like the long-term protective styles. And I just honestly can't. Like I can't go more than 2 weeks without combing my hair because my hair tangles so much. So I have to do protective styles with my own hair. And maybe that may be the case for you. Like maybe there are some things that you want your hair to do that it can't do. But just if you could, Michelle, just like leave some more information on that so I can help you out as much as I can. Is Briogeo considered a protein or a moisture treatment? The Don't Despair Repair is a protein deep conditioner. Okay, so I'm looking through some more questions. Love, love, love your braids. How many times monthly should I deep condition? That's going to depend on your hair and what your hair needs. I think that if you have really low moisture levels, then you should start with deep conditioning once a week. But if your hair is moderately healthy and you don't find that you have like excessively dry hair or excessively weak hair, I think deep conditioning every time you cleanse or at least every like week and a half to 2 weeks is, you know, like a standard average amount. But again, it just really depends on what your hair needs. So you kind of have to test it out and see what works best for you. Alrighty, let's see. What do I do about the straight strands in my curly hair? My hair is very damaged and I'm starting my healthy hair regimen. If you have straight strands in your curly hair, you can either let them grow out and just naturally cut them over time as you're trimming your hair, or you can cut them out completely. To some extent, you can like repair your hair strands. I wouldn't say that you can completely revert it back to curly, but you can kind of like restructure it and provide protein to it to help give it a little bit of a boost. But again, that's going to be temporary because your hair is damaged, like you said. So if you want your hair to be completely like it was before it was damaged, then you'd have to cut it off. But if you want to let it grow out, you can just do the protein treatments and eventually cut off your ends. All right. This isn't a frizz related question, but I experience lots of buildup and I wash once a week. Should I wash more often? I'm type 4A. Lots of buildup. Have you clarified? So if you're washing once a week, is it always like a moisturizing wash? Do you also clarify like maybe every month or every 2 months, every 3 months, whenever your hair needs it? A lot of the times I find I have to clarify every 3 months, and I can always feel it after the 3-month mark if I haven't clarified because my hair gets built up really quickly and it just feels like there's something on my hair. So if you can answer that question for me, have you clarified? And then we can go a little bit deeper. All right. Let's see. How to get volume. Noah Kalan. How to get volume. So if your hair isn't naturally voluminous, I would say using more lightweight products can help you get volume. And then also putting your hair in styles that promote volume can be helpful. So if you like look online and kind of Google some things, you'll be able to find like lightweight moisturizing products. And I feature a lot of them on my channel as well because I like to use more lightweight products. But if your hair isn't naturally voluminous, that's not really something that you can change, but you can manipulate like your hairstyling process to make your hair look more voluminous. All right, let's see. This is irrelevant, but can I use Jamaican black castor oil to thicken my baby hairs? In my opinion, I don't think that you can thicken your hair. I think that your hair strand thickness is genetically determined. It grows out of your hair, grows out of your scalp, and that's that. But I do know that when you use like Jamaican black castor oil or any oil for that matter in a certain area, just having like a nourishing oil can help promote growth because that area of your hair is being protected. It's also being massaged more frequently, and it can promote more growth to make your hair look thicker, but I don't think you'll actually be able to thicken your individual strands. You just may be able to promote more growth in that area because, again, you're massaging that area, making more blood flow to that area, and then also nourishing the strands in that part of your head so that as they grow, they're not breaking off. What is the best protein treatment that you can tell me to use? That's going to depend really on you. It's going to depend on what your hair likes and also what your hair needs. Like I said earlier, when it comes to products, people can give you their experiences with them, and then you take that information and you make an informed decision based on what you know that your hair has liked in the past, and also just through trial and error. But some of my favorite protein deep conditioners, let me see. I will just grab a few of them. Okay. So I really like the Brahmi Root Hair Mask by Bask and Bloom. This one I feel is good for moisture and for strengthening your hair. So it's like a lighter protein treatment, but it really is effective. I used to really also like the Mael Organics Babasu Oil Mint Deep Conditioner. I think that the ingredients in this may have changed, but the old one I used to like a lot. Also, like I said, the Briogeo Don't Despair Repair Deep Conditioner, that one is my favorite. It's not like the most moisturizing, but whenever I use it, I can see that my curls like pop a lot more. I can feel that my hair is stronger after the first use, and I really like that one a lot. And then also the Apogee two-step treatment is really good if you just have excessive breakage. I used to use that a lot, like back in 2014, if you guys have seen any of my hair journey pictures, back in 2014 when my hair was super fragile and just super not healthy. She wasn't nourished. I wasn't moisturizing her once a day. I wasn't deep conditioning. The two-step treatment kind of helped me put my hair back on track as I was restarting my healthy hair journey. Alrighty, so I think I'm going to answer probably a few more. I'm going to answer a few more. I'm glad this is helpful for y'all because I want to be able to just share. Like, I try to share through my experience. Everything it's subjected to everybody. Like, you're gonna have to try it yourself. But if I can at least like help demystify some things for you and like give you some realistic expectations instead of just showing you a pretty picture of some hair, that's all I'm trying to do, is just to help y'all save some time and point you in the right direction for your hair care. Can you suggest a good moisturizing but at the same time clarifying shampoo? Yes, the Shea Moisture African Black Soap Deep Cleansing Shampoo to me is very clarifying, but it doesn't dry my hair out. Like, I could probably use that twice and my hair would still, it would be very, very clean, but it wouldn't feel stripped. I like that one a lot. And then also just using apple cider vinegar with water, like probably 1 to 2 parts apple cider vinegar to 3 to 4 1 part apple cider vinegar to 3 parts water, or 2 parts apple cider vinegar to 2 parts water, depending on how clean you want your hair to get. That gives me really, really clarified hair, but it's also very soft and it doesn't dehydrate it at all. Okay, let's see. There's a lot of questions. So now I wear it out and clip it up in the back, unless I'm doing a scalp massage. Okay. What nourishing oil do you recommend? My favorite oils are ones that are very nourishing but don't weigh my hair down. So I like avocado oil a lot. I also really like argan oil, but I find that's very lightweight. Like, when my hair is blown out or straight, it's great for that, but it's a little bit too lightweight when my hair is curly. I also like almond oil. That's like one of my favorite oils. I really, really like almond oil. And I like sunflower seed oil as well, because it's like fatty and I can feel the fattiness in my hair. And it's like enriching. I like my oils to weigh my hair down just a little bit, not a lot, but enough to where like I just feel like it's feeding my hair. Alrighty, let's see. How to get less volume. My hair poofs up even with heavy gel. Any advice? How to get less volume. So, Juliana, I feel that either one, your hair is just naturally voluminous. And I think to some extent your hair probably is. Like there are some people where their hair grows out instead of down, and that's beautiful. So one, you may like if your hair is naturally trying to do something, I wouldn't fight it. But two, if your hair is poofing up because it's dry or your roots are frizzy, then I would recommend deep conditioning. Like deep conditioning, deep conditioning, deep conditioning. That solves so many problems just because it's giving your hair the moisture that it needs without any other products. Like it imparts the moisture in your hair as you're deep conditioning. And then when you rinse it out, like your hair is still feeling those effects. So I would say, like, are you deep conditioning consistently? Are you deep conditioning frequently enough for your hair? And also, is your hair moisturized by the products that you're using? My hair gets very big and frizzy even after styling, after using a heavy gel. Do you have any? Never mind. I see. Okay, but yeah, so like just let me know, Juliana, if you're deep conditioning and if your hair, like, is your hair properly moisturized from your styling process? What's your hair porosity? I am low porosity. How to stop touching your hair. Like I really need to get my hands out of my hair. I understand that struggle because when my hair was shorter, like especially like right here, my hair kind of stopped growing for a while because I was always twirling my curls. And what I did was I would wear my hair in a puff. If you can get your hair in a puff, I would wear it in a puff so like you don't have it hanging. And then also, like truly what helped me is just I realized that if I wanted to get my hair to where I want it to go, I just had to stop touching it. Like if I was going to put in all this effort and time into researching the products that worked for me and researching the techniques that worked for me, and then I was going to have breakage because I couldn't stop touching my hair, I just had to, like, in my mind, just tell myself, like, if you want the results you want, you just have to stop. And then after a while of being really aware of it, like I would just be constantly aware of whether or not I was doing it. Probably after a few weeks, I stopped, and then I never had to worry about that again. But I think we all go through like that period where we're just so in love with our hair and we touch it all the time. And yeah. Let's see. Do you recommend using a deep conditioner directly after shampooing or using a rinse out conditioner to detangle then deep condition? So I recommend shampooing, conditioner, deep conditioner. And I actually detangle before I shampoo because I use the, it's like a detangling serum that I use. So I'll detangle, then I'll shampoo, then I'll condition, and then I'll deep condition. And the reason why is because I feel, especially if you're using like a shampoo conditioner set, like they're made to work together. The conditioner is made to kind of provide something that the shampoo may be taking out. So I don't want to skip that step. And then also when I don't use matching shampoos, I just feel that my hair isn't as, there's not enough slip for me because when I deep condition, I like thoroughly deep condition. I split my hair apart into multiple sections. I get my roots, I run it all the way down to my ends. So in order for me to have the slip and the moisture that I need to deep condition properly, I need to put something on my hair after shampooing because just naked hair to me is just asking for breakage, especially because my hair tangles a lot. So I need something to help my strands like slide past each other. But I know a lot of people who don't do that. So again, it's up to you. Low porosity products under $11. Carmen, I have a video on affordable hair products. Now, some of the hair products in that video aren't like natural ingredients. Like there are some synthetic ingredients into those products, but I understand like when you're on a budget, sometimes you have to do what you have to do. So I have a video all on that on my channel. TT Lola, I feel like I have a friend named TT Lola. But yeah, you said you never deep conditioned. I wish I found your channel earlier. Yeah, I can pronounce your name. I tried. I hope I said it right. Okay, so hey, Stephanie. Hi, Samantha. If you have any last minute questions, leave them in the chat. I want to make sure I'm answering as much as I can for y'all. My DIYs work best for my fine strands, avocados, honey, and olive oil. Avocados are the best. Avocados work really well for my hair as well. What do I do about straight strands? Okay, I answered that. My hair has been super dry, and every time I find a moisturizing product, it works for one wash, and the next time I wash my hair, it doesn't. Have you ever experienced this? I haven't experienced that. where you're using a product one time and then it works and then it doesn't. I haven't experienced that. And it kind of makes me feel like there might be like an underlying issue. But Curly Wishes Caviar Dreams, if you want, DM me about that on Instagram and maybe we can like go through what your regimen looks like and figure out if there's something, it's not the product, maybe it's the process. I care about ingredients over price, but in the end it comes to pricing. Let's see. I'm trying to think if I can think of any natural products that are under $11. Some of these Shea Moisture products, some of those are still really like effective for me. A lot of them aren't, but there are a few, like, let me grab this really quick. This is so awkward. Okay, like this right here, I believe this is under $11. And this is, or if it's not, it's like 12. This is their Omega Rescue and Repair Hair Mask. This is really good. And this is also like a protein deep conditioner. So some of the Shea Moisture products may be helpful if you're looking for like ingredients and price. And then also going to hair shows, like when I wanted to get affordable products that were also healthy for me, I went to hair shows because people will usually have their products like half off. Sometimes I will pick up products for like $5. So if you can, like, go to a local hair show and people will be vending their products for like a lower price. Okay. Deasia, I'm glad you made it. I'm glad you made it. Okay, so I think I'm going to answer these last two questions and then we're going to wrap up. So someone says, what are your thoughts on shea butter? Do you think it's too drying? Where does it fit in with moisturizing hair? For me personally, because my hair is low porosity and my cuticles are very tightly closed on one another, Shea Moisture is not moisturizing for me because it can't penetrate. So it really just, it sits on top of my hair. It kind of feels like a wax and it doesn't do anything for me, but like block moisture from getting into my hair. So I don't like shea butter. I don't use it. But if shea butter works for you, like if you have higher porosity hair where your cuticles are very wide open, or even normal porosity hair, or if you have thick hair, shea butter can be really good at helping you seal the moisture in. I would use it as a sealant because there isn't water in the shea butter. So I would put it on top of a product that has like a water base to its ingredient list. That way you get the water, which is the hydration, you get the moisturizing ingredients from the cream, and then you seal all that in with the shea butter and it kind of blocks the environment from taking the moisture out and it like just keeps your hair happy and healthy if it works for you. For me, oils do that. Oils like keep the moisture in my hair and block the environment from like pulling it out. All right, I think there was another question up here. Let me see. What do you recommend for extreme shedding? That's a very, very good question. And I feel like that's also a question that's like a very personal question. You can have extreme shedding if you have a low iron count, which is very prevalent in Black women. You're not getting enough iron, so your hair is shedding because you don't have the nutrients that your body needs. Your hair may be shedding excessively if your scalp is dry, and you need to address that. And I found that the Head and Shoulders 2-in-1 Dry Scalp Care Shampoo is really good for me with addressing my dry scalp. You could have extreme shedding just because you're like pulling your hair out unintentionally or because you're stressed. I've been experiencing that lately. I've been getting like shedding in my hairline because I've been stressed lately, which is, I think it's called like stress-related alopecia or something like that. So there are a lot of different reasons why you may be experiencing shedding. And I feel like with that, you should probably look at your regimen first. Look and see if there's anything that you're doing that's causing it. Or like evaluate your stress. And then if you can't figure it out, I would go to a doctor and I would make sure that like internally you have the nutrients that you need. Maybe you need to take a multivitamin every day, or you do have a low iron count, but that's very, very personal. And I would go to a doctor if you can't figure it out on your own. Alrighty. So I think I'm going to leave it here because it's been 43 minutes. So if you guys have any further questions, when I end this live, you can come back and ask them in the comments below. But I wanted to do this live in case you guys are struggling with frizzy hair. And I also just want to let you know that because I understand, like, when it comes to a hair journey, sometimes you just need like an outside perspective to hear exactly what you may be doing wrong, or maybe there's something that you're just overlooking, and it helps to have somebody who's been through it or who like could just help you get outside of yourself. I'm going to be doing one-on-one curl coaching, and this is This is a very specific program. This is for people who just need help and assistance in their hair care journey. Like they feel stuck, they feel like they're struggling, they can't get past a certain point. And I want to be there for you to basically help support you in your goals and live your hair dreams. It is a paid program, so it's not going to be free, but it's going to be one-on-one with me 3 times a month, and we're going to work together to figure out what's going on with your hair. So if you like to have hair consultations or just outside perspective with me, you can click the link in the information box and you'll basically be able to sign up and just tell me a little bit more about your hair and what you're looking for, and also leave your email so I can contact you when sessions open, because they're opening very soon. And I'm basically making this program to help the people who are in the position that I was 4 years ago, where my hair was just stuck. I was stuck. I had excessive breakage. I didn't know what was going on. And I figured it out because I researched it like crazy, but it took hours and years for me to figure it out. So I want to help you get to living your dreams quicker. So you can go ahead and just click that link. And of course, just come back and leave your questions if I wasn't able to answer them during this live. And I'll see you guys in the next one. But I appreciate you for spending time with me, and I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.